January 2020. Wow, 2 years. At least since the posting. When was the GB? January 20. Wow. So it was 2 years. That's crazy. So the gasket. So I told him, dude, at the time, right? So the gasket had a huge, I'm going a little bit into the history of this. I've done it before, but for those of you that aren't super familiar, this board was ran for like a small group of friends. There was a ton of hype around it. No one was really selling theirs. If they did sell it, it was like ridiculously expensive. At the time, there were not many O-ring like gasket boards. So that was also a plus for it. And then weaston decided to make it into a group buy. I think that was kind of the idea all along. So he made it into a group buy. Let's go to the Geek Hack here and I'll show you guys. Right, so obviously this was about 2 years ago. I was super hyped on this group buy when it first came out. You were actually able to order 2 gaskets if you wanted to, 2 boards on the Google form, which I know a lot of people did. There was a ton of controversy over it, and I think it was kind of like plagued from the beginning. I don't even want to, I mean, I know a lot of people were super heated against weaston for this, but I feel like it was kind of destined, I don't want to say destined to fail from the beginning, but what had happened was he dropped the board, he dropped the form at a certain time, but then people, I think in like a Discord, had it prior, and then people got mad, so then he offered like another. It ended up making like twice as many, I think, as he originally wanted to, which for a single person is a ton of work, and I definitely can feel that. So I feel like that's kind of where it all kind of, all the trouble started, is offering more boards than he planned on. Geek Hack, I see tons of hype. GB time rolls around, Geek Hack crashes. weaston posts a link on Mekhi's Discord in KB Customs. People complain, he accepts 100 more orders to apologize. Yes, Zekin was much more concise than my rambling. But yeah, there were so many people that joined or tried to join this group buy that were on Geek Hack at the time, constantly refreshing, that it actually downed Geek Hack. Which is where he said the link was going to be posted. So then he posted the link on Discord instead. And then everyone piled in, got the board, right? Well, then everyone that was originally going on Geek Hack was like, dude, like, how was I supposed to know it was going to be in Discord? So then he's like, okay, as an apology, we'll make 100 more boards. And I think that's was probably more than it for sure was more than he anticipated. So it's a lot to manage for sure, especially in this environment with the customers that we have in the boutique mechanical keyboard realm. I feel like the gasket is Proto Ogre and Proto Vulcan. I would say the Vulcan Pro or the Vulcan is quite a bit different. I guess Ogre has a similar mounting style, similar to like the OTD Mini as well. Wait, is weaston not providing any bump-ons? Oh, he definitely provided some bump-ons, which I will show you. We are not going to be using the bump-ons that he provided. I actually hate them quite a bit. I'll show you guys the bump-ons that I chose to use instead. In my opinion, just using like the normal, you know, what is it, like the SJ502, that just a traditional 3M little jelly bump-ons, I would choose those over what he provided personally. Let's get the board out. So like I said, cherry blacks, hyperglide blacks, lubed. I would say pretty, like a medium lube, medium light lube on these. They are filmed as well, pretty smooth. TX stabs, lube 205 grade 0. So we'll put these aside and we'll get the board out. Yo, champagne. Yo, we got a champagne Marky and a champagne Stevie. All right, here we are. So we do have, actually, let's just take it all out at once, shall we? I kind of want a gasket, but when people are trying to make... Is the market 800 bucks for these right now? Is that really? All right. So we are building with an aluminum half plate. Obviously, we have a red ano on this. If I'm being frank about this plate, this ano is... It's actually quite nice. It's like a dusted ano, if you guys can tell. It's not... it reminds me of like kind of like the more... like the OG Korean boards. It's not that like super sheeny, super sparkly ano. So it's like a matte red. I like it a lot. Not too poppy. Obviously we have a half plate here. I found that the spacebar cutout on this half plate is super interesting. Right? So the spacebar is gonna go like that. Very interesting. Man, Kyazo, it's higher than that now? Over a K? Really? I don't check Mech Market anymore, and it's a relief. Dude, same. So we do have an aluminum half plate that we're building tonight. Let's take a look at the PCB. I obviously need to get my my spudger tool here. So, at first glance, I instantly think of an OTD 356 mini PCB, right? We do have that big flex cut in the middle here between the bottom row and the middle row of alphas. We do have these pretty large semicircle cuts into the PCB to for that gasket to kind of go around and rest below. A lot of compatibility going on here. We got definitely a lot of Swiss cheese going on over here. We have two other flex cuts on the right, very OTD reminiscent as well. We got ALP support too. So yeah, lots of holes on this PCB. Lastly, we have a center USB port. This is obviously a USB mini. When this board came out, USB-C was not super popular. So definitely USB mini, which is quite rare these days. Additionally, what's also rare is there's no daughter board, right? So this has the port soldered onto the PCB, right? So no daughter board today. Take a look at the bottom. Pretty clean as well. Very OG style, I would say. Back in the day, I would say I was like, I honestly, I don't care. Once it's plugged in, it really doesn't matter. But now I highly prefer USB-C. It also looks way cleaner on the actual port, right? As you guys will see on this one, you can make a USB mini port pretty tight around it, but not as tight, in my opinion, as you can with USB-C, right? So we do have, and we're back. The no up down is bullshit for keyboards. You're still gonna look at where you're plugging in because you don't want to scuff up the board by missing the... That's true. That is true. The biggest thing for me though on the up down is my cable with the limo, because like sometimes I'll unplug it, right? And I'll go and I'll put the USB mini on like this. But then as you can see, like sometimes my cable will actually be upside down, and then I'll have to actually go all the way back to the cable and kind of flip it around so it's not twisted. That's my biggest pet peeve about it. Dude, it was kind of crazy. The when I got my gasket order, it was handwritten. That's kind of crazy. That's something you don't see a lot of the time. Normally you get like a, you know, someone will at a minimum use like a normal printer and then like tape it, or you could use like a label maker. But this was actually handwritten, like he went to the post office and wrote it out himself. Pretty sure not all domestic have been shipped either. Took the time to handwrite everything but not get normal bump-ons. Well, the issue was, and I'll show you, that there are no bump-on cutouts. So I think he thought that this would be the best alternative. So kind of came up to a judgment call, I guess. Here. But we might not be able to use this shim. Yeah, we can't. Huh. So check it out. So if a shim, this is the first time I've ran into this issue. If a shim is where a switch hole is, let me get a better angle there. The shim is supposed to sit snugly between the two clips. On this one, it actually, you put it in, it just slides right into the switch hole. See how it slants down into it? So no matter how many times I take it out, I'll show you guys what happens. See, we have it like that, and then we push it down. Oh, and it just slides in. I guess we can just leave it like that for now. Yeah, it's tight enough. We're good. Just something to note. Tons of wasted time and tons of wasted money because it's actually more expensive to buy labels at the PO. Dude, yeah, like the box, it was basically a shoebox. And the label was handwritten on it and it said $36. Like, I have shipped probably 100 keyboards at this point, and that definitely does not cost that much money to ship. Like, it was, and it's a light board. There's no weight in here. It's a light board, so that was kind of crazy. All right, stabs are done. Plate's gonna go just like this. Boom, looking pretty sick. So the dope thing about this board is once the keycaps are on, we're going to be able to see that red PCB below as well as the red of the plate. So that'll be pretty stealthy build there. Solder it? Yo, I would if it was metal. Oh, I guess I could technically solder the hole, right? Okay, so let me show you guys the board and kind of some, I don't want to say issues, but something I've ran into. Let me unplug this one to give you guys a better look. So it kind of tends to have this like factory oil, and I have dealt with 3 different gaskets in person now, and it's definitely the most prominent on the black ones. Let me get a towel and I'll show you what I mean, right? So it ends up wiping off if you do it like super hard, you see? So we're just gonna have to, but I've done this multiple times now and it kind of just comes back. So I don't know if there's just like a ton of residue on here, but it seems to come off pretty easily in the beginning. So let me just clean it up and then I'll show you guys some close-ups here. Because weaston did say, there were some people that complained about these marks, and weaston said that, oh, I must have missed that one. I basically try to clean them all off on every single one that I send out. So my guess is that maybe he did clean these ones, but they just keep coming back. I don't know. We'll see. Oil after anode though, yeah, that is quite interesting, right? It wipes off, well, it sweats. That's the best way I can describe it. It wipes off, and then eventually it just comes back. So I don't really get it. Okay, let's take a look here, right? Let's get the spudger out and we will, class is in session. So, we definitely have a 60% win keyless board. Obviously we have the black rendition here. I have seen the red in person as well. The red did look pretty sweet. Personally for me, I think I would choose the black. Even though it is like super kind of greasy. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I am not a very sweaty person. My hands are generally quite dry, but this might bug me a bit, right? We do see like some slight machining marks, as Zekin pointed out. Do you see these lines? Those are machining marks. It is on the inside, so as long as that's on the inside, it won't bother me too much. If we have that on the bottom, it would be an issue, right? We do have those semicircle columns right there, or posts. That's where the O-ring is gonna rest on, or the plate rather. There we go. We have them on top and we have them on bottom. Pretty cool. I personally like the dimensions of this board. I like the bezels. We have uniform bezels on top, bottom, and then side to side. I like the bezels on it. I think they're a good size. This board has a fillet all around, right? So we got fillets on the top, we got fillets on the corners, and we have fillets on the bottom. Let's take a look at the side profile here. Profile, you guys are gonna see me wiping this board quite a bit. So side profile, it's a wedge. It looks very nice, very, very mellow here. Not much to see. We don't have a shelf or anything, just a plain wedge there, right? You guys can get a little bit of a glimpse of the bump-ons that I have put on this thing. Come on, stop it. Stop looking at the nest. There we go. Right, dude, look at this. This is like this is the black anno that I hate. All right, let's look at the back here. So this is what I was talking about with USB-C versus USB Mini, right? A lot of the USB Mini boards have a square cutout, and they also have a recess within a recess, which to me does not look fantastic. I love the red peeping through the keycaps. Copied it from Teha. Dude, I was just talking about that. This board's gonna look so good with that. This is the port that I'm not a huge fan of. On camera, it looks like there is like slight anno mismatch. If I'm being honest with you guys, in person, it really is. I don't really see it with my eyes. I think my camera is probably amplifying it a little bit. So there's really not much anno mismatch here. It looks pretty good on my end. Other wedge, still the same there. Let's look at the front. I would say anno looks pretty good as well. Front height, it's definitely a little bit tall. A little bit tall. Not deal breaker tall, but a little bit tall. I think maybe it's like 19 or 20 millimeters if I had to guess. So it's pushing it a little bit. Maybe it's like unicorn height, I would say. Way nicer than the strips he sent. Yes, so these are actually the feet that came with my Dolphin or the 2021 Dolphin. I thought it looked pretty cool with the corners. I mean, the good thing about this is if you don't like how it looks, you can just take it off and use different bump-ons. But these are the bump-ons that were supplied, right? They're basically just long strips of silicone, right? So this is, I guess this is ideally what it would have been like, which to me would look extremely janky. Under like no circumstance would I ever use these. I would rather use just like the small bump-ons if I didn't have these Dolphin ones. All right, let's take one look here. Dude, I love this classic look of the cherry blacks on the red plate and the red PCB. Looks freaking solid. All right, so looks great, yo. And it looks like Shanghai Yicheng's work. I know, right? We will get into that. You look solid. What's up, Avo? Okay, so we're gonna be putting this gasket O-ring on. I would assume, dude. Ooh, this is tight. This is a tight boy. Cool. All right, so basically what we did here was we put that gasket in between the PCB and the plate. So gaskets in between the PCB and the plate there. Looking pretty good. All right, let's open up the case. So I did have kind of two other issues with this case. Apart from the lack of bump-ons, right? So the two issues I had was the normal screwdriver that I literally use on like every keyboard won't even fit in the screw holes. So the tolerance between the screw diameter and the hole diameter is like ridiculous. I mean, there basically is there's no tolerance there, or there's no additional room created. So I would say if you did purchase a gasket, make sure that when you're screwing in the screw, that it doesn't kind of cut into the outside of this. I did see that happen on one of them. I'll show you how close this is right here. So what can happen is the screw head is so tight that it'll actually kind of cut a layer of the anode off as you're screwing it in. So definitely be weary of that. And I'll show you guys really how close this is. So there's like no room for error there. Let me see if this is better. Yeah, you can easily scuff. You can easily scuff it when you're screwing it together. So that's my other issue. Obviously the third issue is the fact that these are Phillips. Are these countersunk? We'll find out. Hammer in the screws. Yeah, like, so for instance, look at this one. I just started to unscrew it. I started to unscrew it, and it actually got stuck. These aren't scuffs, by the way. But it actually got stuck. So I'm going to have to unscrew it more with a little bit of force. And then it came out. It doesn't feel good. These are countersunk screws. It's crazy how Phillips screws make me not like a board. I am 100% with you on that. And the fact that these are like so, like, such unique screws makes it even worse. Because these are going to be, I mean, look at these. They're like tiny Phillips countersunk screws. Like, these are going to be pretty hard to replace with Allens, I would say. This board feels like 2012 when it was really 2020. It kind of does, huh? Well, we don't have any alignment tabs, that's for sure. Hello, Mom? All right. So let's take a look at the top case. Right, so looks pretty good. Just some super slight anode streaking going on. Not the end of the world. Looks pretty good. There are definitely no alignment tabs, right? So this thing just can kind of move around. Shouldn't be an issue. It'll just be slightly more annoying to put together. We do have these kind of plate tab indents on the top case, as well as the bottom case here. Pretty damn simple board. You can definitely see the hook marks on this one. Generally speaking, hook marks don't bother me, but these ones are kind of getting borderline up to the seam right there. Like, generally these wouldn't bother me, but this kind of bothers me a little bit. That's if I'm being super nitpicky, right? All right, so I'm gonna clean the inside of this real quick. How much is this board? So this board actually went for, let's take a look here. Go all the way back to page 1. It was pretty inexpensive. So the pricing for this board was $225 for the case. The plate was separate, so half plate was $25. That puts us at $250. The PCB was $25, so that's $275. Shipping was $25, so $300. If you got Cerakote, it was an additional $50. Obviously, this one's not Cerakoted, so this was $300 based off of that chart. It looks like a little gross, but it's inside at least, right? Oh god, how's the anode looking like for this? So the anode itself is not that bad. I actually like the anode, but it's so hard to explain. It's almost like it sweats. Like it really retains oil quite a bit. Definitely more than an average blackboard. The wait time was more expensive than the board itself. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's I mean, the board costs $300 and it's going for $1,000 now though. That's not, I mean, if you are looking at directly just ROI, that's not a bad ROI on your wait time if you ended up not liking the board and wanted to be a flipper. All right. So I'm assuming, always be careful with the USB ports when it's not a daughter board. Usually I like to kind of just make sure that, I usually try and go to the USB port first. Wow, that is not a high and tight. That is not a high and tight USB port there. So this is a perfect example of how I was telling you guys that usually USB mini ports are not super tight and they are boxy. Something hallway. Exactly. Pretty simple board, right? The only thing that's going to be slightly annoying about this putting it together is, I mean, you can see there's no alignment tabs, right? Let me get a better angle here. No alignment tabs, so clearly, see, it's going to be like, you know, slightly annoying to put together, but not bad. All right, let's flip it over. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to compress it a little bit, make sure it stays in the proper position. The taller screws go in the top portion of the case. I'm going to screw this one down, not quite. I'm going to go all the way and then back it out just a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing for this corner here. The reason I do this is because if we tighten it down all the way, I'm almost guaranteed that the alignment is not going to be perfect on the sides. So I'm going to do all 4 corners here. Does it grind your gears? Slightly. It definitely slightly ruffles my jimmies and flustered my Jim Bobs, but you know, that's another story. All right, so I'm gonna make sure here, kind of make it centered. There is a decent amount of tension, so it's not too hard to make it centered. All right, now I'm gonna tighten these down. Cool. And we'll put in the rest of the screws. Thanks for the tip regarding the switch on the 2.0 ad. Just had to clip it and it's working now. Yo. Yeah, it's that's the only board I think I've ever had to do that on. And I mean, unless you actually looked it up online first or someone told you, you wouldn't really know. So I'm glad it worked out. Oof. All right, last screw here. Dude, oh my god, I love the look of this board. Oh my god, that red. I want to not like this board, but I like it so much. Let's get all my grease off of it. Let's take a look. This is a definitely a classic stunner. I actually like how the plate and the FR4 or the PCB rather are like slightly different reds. We'll go from 1K to 2K and someone will fake a listing purchase. The low stacks effect. Don't let the gap. I mean, dude, this thing is a deal breaker for me, bro. The feet are terrible. The screws are terrible. It probably types like shit. I mean, I would be surprised if someone got their money back for this board. Did it work? That's clean. That's really clean. I really want wob for this. I don't have wob. I need to buy wob again. If I had this black board with the red background, I would 100% wob. I'd put wob on this, or I would put on the hiragana one. This does look really good. I agree. All right, let's take a look here. Dude, that looks sick. You guys see the sheen of the PCB shining there? Pretty nice. You know what's funny? The dimensions of this board are actually quite similar to the X60 V2. As far as the bezels go. Very nice. Salads are too close to pickles. Ryan doesn't eat anything green. Avo knows me too well. The red of the PCB looks so good through these caps. Yeah, check that out. It's so subtle. Dude, this is sick. Dude, Evan, you finally have your first actual premium keyboard. This thing's sick. Let's frickin' go. Dude, there's so much flex. Holy. Are you looking at this? Can you guys see that flex? Yeah, shit feels so good. Yo. They don't look green if they're pickled, right? Dude, I don't know these days, bro. I think Evan said he wants to switch to full right shift now. Get out of town. So for a newbie like me, what does flex indicate? So, flex, in my opinion, affects both sound and feel, right? So when you're typing on it, it's going to be usually a softer bottom out, because as you're hitting that bottom out, it is going to flex a bit and have some give. Additionally, I have found that when you PCB mount the alphas like on this half plate, it does sound higher pitched and poppier as well. Oof. Dude, I think my favorite is the backspace. That backspace sounds super spicy. Everything else sounds pretty solid. See, I like this sound. Yeah, this is like the classic, this is the classic cherry black pop sound. Yo, damn. That was actually faster than I was expecting, although I made a shit ton of errors, so I apologize for that. Dude, how did it sound? How did it sound? You guys, I seriously thought you guys made a mistake by going over. Light work. People rush to dump so many points just to lose them. Yikes, dude. It's super poppy. Great feedback. Great feedback. It sounds. It honestly, it sounds as though I expected it to sound, which is good. It sounded just like a very poppy cherry board. Super nice pop. Exactly. Yeah. Yo, Big Beat Ben, raiding with a party of 4. Let's go, bud. Weren't you in my chat? What'd you do tonight? If I could get one at GB price, I would. Yo. Sounds like I'm flipping my nest on Mech Market now? Bro. Alright, we're gonna do one more typing test here. I'll go a little bit slower, see if I can make it sound like a little creamier as well. Here we go. Dude, wait, what springs are these? I really like how this feels. What springs are in here? This feels really nice. And usually I don't like super flexy boards. This pops. I really want to rewatch my VOD and see how it sounds for you guys. But I dig it. How this compares to the Ogre. So, to be honest, they feel completely different, but that's also because my Ogre was a full plate. So the Ogre was a full plate and it didn't have flex cuts in the PCB. This, look at this flex. My Ogre had like no flex. So the Ogre doesn't have much flex at all, right? It's pretty stiff actually, but I like it. So this is a completely different typing experience than the Ogre. If this had a full plate, it might feel more like the Ogre, but to me, completely different board, at least feel-wise. 55 short, really? Interesting. So what do you guys think? I dig it. I honestly, I think you're gonna be really happy. How was the build? Dude, really nice. Stoked. I really want one to be, I'll be honest with you guys, I want one. I don't know if I would pay like over $1,000 Mech Market for one, but I would pay somewhere in between GB and Mech Market for this. It would be nice to have in the collection for sure. All right, we'll put that up there and we'll do our typing test. Looks like the X60 V2 to me. Dude, that's hilarious that you said that because, here, look. Oh, I don't know if you were in chat earlier, but I actually said the bezels look pretty similar to the X60 V2. The X60 V2 is a little bit thicker on top. The sides are identical. Front's identical. Looks like, almost. Pretty similar. Ryan, did you see the new unicorn colors? I did, dude, that sage green. Look at the side profiles here. So they're both wedge shaped, but obviously the X60 V2 is screwless and seamless. Real talk, would you folks join a gasket round 3 by Weaston? I would join a gasket round 3 of this board with bump-ons and different screw tolerances, but probably ran by someone. I don't think he would even want to run another group buy, right? But if you're literally asking me straight up, round 3, Weaston, tomorrow, I'd say no. But I don't think he would ever run one. I would just imagine. So, anyways, I dig it. I dig it. I like it. Super unfortunate, like I said a million times. Super unfortunate about the bump-ons. But if you put your own on there, it honestly doesn't look that bad. The ano is like just get super fingerprinty, but that's a lot of black boards do that. If this were my board, I might try and replace the screws. It's gonna be kind of hard to find like long countersunk screws like that, but I'm sure they exist. As you could have guessed, a USB port on a non-USB-C board, USB mini. That's about almost as best as you can get. Not too good, but at least you're never looking at that, right? Classic wedge, nothing crazy going on with the design here. Just an overall solid board. "2 years ago" means short. Yeah, they feel like short. They definitely feel like short.